Welcome back. All right, we're talking today. All Blacks versus Wallabies, the final round of the Rugby Championship. Could it get any better? Second game at Bledisloe. I wish they make it a 3-game series where, you lose the first one, the second one still means something, and then possibly the third one is a bit of a dead rubber. But yeah, it would just make it easier, I guess, for teams to be able to swap the trophy instead of how it is at the moment where, New Zealand's had the trophy for like 20 years or 20-something years now. So as you can see here, the last 5 results between the two teams, 31-28 obviously last week to New Zealand, 38-7 to New Zealand, 40 points to 14 to New Zealand, 39-37 to New Zealand. That game Australia should have won. New Zealand scored, in the red, right? So in injury time. And remember Foley, if he just kicked the ball out, the ref wouldn't have blown that change of possession. Would have been a whole different story. So yeah, cut the losses. New Zealand then 38-21. Now we'll look at the lineups today. So it's a good comparison here, okay? So Will Jordan at fullback, Tom Wright for Australia. I think this will be a big game for Will Jordan to kind of hopefully try and cement the position. So it's a big game for him, I think. Tom Wright's been great. He's been one of Australia's best, in my opinion, on the attacking side. Sevu Reece and Andrew Callaway on the right wings. They both got a point to prove as well. Rico Ioane had a great game last game. And Ikitau, who was quite quiet. He didn't look himself. He was trying to kick too much, I think, instead of just kind of running what he does best. Anton Leonard-Brown gets the start, gets called in. And I think, it's good for him to be able to actually get a lot of minutes. That's the thing, though, that the players that I guess the All Blacks are swapping in and out, it's not like they're getting any younger either. So they're not really building for the next World Cup. But, New Zealand's got a lot of good players to choose from. Hunter Paisami, who I really, really rate. He's just been, I guess, playing with a lot of niggling injuries recently. So that's the reason why I guess he hasn't been 100%. You got Caleb Clark on the left wing. Man, this guy's a gun. After that first game against the Springboks, I think he solidified. He's like, yep, I'm the starting left winger now. You can see Dylan Peach. So this is a player I really rate too. Every time he's come on off the bench, he looks lively. He looks good. He gets involved in the middle as well. Beauden Barrett has been called in. This is, I think, the biggest change of the whole game. Beauden Barrett back in at 10. I mean, this guy is pure class. We know that. One of the world's best. Maybe one of the world's best in history as well. And I think he's going to really, I think he's going to rip Australia up, depending on the weather, obviously. Because I don't know if you've ever been to the Cake Tin, but that thing freaking, the wind is swirling. If it's raining, it's popping you from this side. Next minute, it's coming from this side. And it doesn't matter where you sit, you're getting destroyed. So that's why it's so hard sometimes to be able to goal kick there as well. They say just because you feel the wind coming from this side, that doesn't necessarily mean that's where it's going to be when you're kicking it. So it's nearly sometimes the opposite. You can see Noah Lolosio. I hope he just kind of throws his body at the line a little bit more and kind of puts in a bit more. I think that'll help a lot. Obviously, he's kind of shying away like the old teams used to, but hopefully gets involved. TJ Perinara starting at number 9 again. And him and Beauden Barrett are going to be very, very much live wires, I think. Jake Gordon back in for the 9 for Australia, which I think is a good call. He's a bit more attacking. So I think he'll bring something back. He'll be able to bring a bit of defense too. So I just want to show you. So this is the Cake Tin here. Obviously, the weather will never be this bloody good, but this was actually New Zealand versus Peru. It's obviously a football game, soccer game, but that's the stadium over here. You can see it there. So the nickname is, the Cake Tin. You can see it there right on the water. So that's why it gets so much wind. And Wellington's already a windy city, so let alone right in the middle, like where the most wind is. A bit of a weird spot for it because there's nothing really too much around it, like as in, life around it. It's just a port. So it's kind of a weird spot. Obviously, now we go to front row. So Ethan de Groot, who I think looked average. His scrummaging was okay. Overextended a couple of times, but I think he was kind of lacking on the normal side of things for him. So, obviously it's his first game back. So that's the reason why. Angus Bell, who's, I think he's a great player. Cody Taylor, obviously one of the best hookers in the world at the moment. Then you got Matt Faisler, who actually played quite well. I mean, he's bulked up a lot, obviously, in the last couple of years, and he's been playing really good. Tyrell Lomax, always good. Taniela Tupou. That'll be a good battle again, but between him and Ethan. Last game, they're both pointing at each other saying, he's pulling back, he's overextending, whatever. Nick Frost back in at 4. Scott Barrett, Capitano. Then you got Tupou Vae, who I don't like. I mean, he's a great player. Really, really good player. Really good player. But you watch him play, watch this game today and just see how much he complains to the ref. Every time in the line out or something, oh, ref. In the rucks, oh, ref. He's just one of those players which just complains a lot. And same with TJ Perinara. So hopefully they both just kind of settle down. Same with Nick White as well. Then you got Jeremy Williams back in at 5. So same lock pairing. Valentini back in at 6. TT, Sam Kane, Fraser McWright, who just had a bloody blinder. Had such a good game. You got to say, scored a try back, freaking made some great tackles, made a steal, I think. And just looked really, really good. I think he was Australia's player of the match last game. Artie Sevilla, always great. Harry Wilson, El Capitano. We jump to the bench. All right, so you got Paenga Omosa, hopefully gets a couple more minutes. Asofa Almoa as well. Tamaiti Williams. And you got Pasilio Tosi, the big fella, back as well. Alan Alatoa, he's also on the bench, so it looks pretty similar at the moment. Patrick Tuipulotu gets in. Nice, good for him. Hopefully he gets a couple minutes. He's a great player, Tuipulotu. Sakaya Lotu, hopefully he gets hopefully he gets a few more minutes too, but he's a great player. He actually helped, that bench. Usually where Aussie lack when the bench comes on, he actually brought a bit of physicality and stuff, so pretty good on him. Then you got Lungi Gleeson. He was great. He was great. Number 20. Watch him. Hopefully he gets a few more minutes. He actually brought, physicality. He brought pump. He brought that push. He got over the gain line, and his defense was really good too. So hopefully gets a few more minutes. Luke Jacobson, Cortez Ratumar back on the bench. Tate McDermott, the little live wire. Ben Donaldson, who I think is probably Australia's best 10 at the moment, just in my opinion. Mackenzie on the bench and Havili. And you got Josh Fluke. So hopefully these players all get to get a few minutes. I'll give what I think the prediction will be. Obviously, New Zealand's been going pretty average in Wellington recently. So it'll be a good game, I think. It'll be New Zealand will win. I think Beauden Barrett, being pretty much not local, but his local Super Rugby team where he's from, him and the Barrett boys. So I think he'll be able to handle it quite well, the conditions. And I think New Zealand pull away. I think it won't be as close. I think maybe, 14 to 17 points is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking maybe New Zealand win, it's nearly similar projection as last game, but, Aussie really made a good comeback last game and threw my one out the window because I said New Zealand by 17. But if it's going to be kind of muggy, kind of wet weather, New Zealand handles it much better. So I see New Zealand probably winning, 31-17, around about there. That's my projection, 14 to 17 points for New Zealand. I just don't see Aussie keeping it close. Aussie do have some great players, but we've noticed, when Australia play in wet conditions, they're pretty average because I guess not all of them play in, wet conditions all the time. New Zealand always is slippery and that sort of thing. So they're used to this. This is what they're ready for. So I think New Zealand win this one and quite comfortably too. Let me know your projections. I mean, what do you think the predictions would be? I called the last game too. So I said Caleb Clark would score a try. I can see him scoring again, but I'm kind of picking Sevu Reece to score on the right wing in this game here as well. So good game. Let me know what you think will happen. Will New Zealand break this hoodoo of Wellington? I don't know why they don't just play more in Auckland. I mean, you can fit 20,000 more people into the stands because the Cake Tin is only 34,000, 35,000 people. in Wellington, where, you know, you go to Auckland, you go to Eden Park, and that's 55,000. So why not go to Auckland? And Auckland is like a safe haven. You always win there. Why not just get the extra 20,000 seats? It's in the biggest city. It's a bit more planned out, but instead you always want to go and play in Wellington for some reason. I mean, yeah, no offense, but Wellington's not a very great city, to be honest. It's always cold, miserable, windy, freaking earthquakes all the time. And yeah, let me know what you think below. Sorry if you're from Wellington, but yeah, that's my experience. Probably the 10 times I've been there. But be a great game, and we'll do a bit of a review afterwards and see how we went with these predictions. And I'll see you in the next one.